Welcome to Altitude After Dark. It's DMac. Coach Mike Sanford will join me here in just a little bit as we go over and celebrate a 21-17 victory. The Broncos over the Eagles. Just remarkable. By the numbers, the Broncos, when trailing by 14 or more points going into the fourth quarter, historically, were 1 in 112. Make that 2 in 112. Bo Nix in the fourth quarter was 9 of 10 for 126 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 for 3 on scoring drives. You don't get more clutch, more composed, and more accomplished than beating the Super Bowl champions, trailing by 14, which your team has, frankly, never done, and you do it on the road. It was as performance as the Broncos have had since their Super Bowl year. It's probably their biggest win since winning Super Bowl 50. And we're here to talk with you about it. Coach Mike Sanford is there. I just want to say as we get going, we're brought to you by our great friends at Journey Spice. You can use this QR code right here. And if you use that bad boy, you can save yourself 10% on everything at Amazon.com using the code GETSPICY. I just had some salmon sliders earlier tonight. Spice it up with Journey Spice. Flavor in, plastic out, non-GMO, no salt, no sugar, in fantastic little boxes that are recyclable. You got to love the Journey Spice. All right, here we are with Coach Sanford, and we had the Altitude TV show. That went pretty good, and we had some fun with that, but we've had some time to hear now from Bo Nix and Sean Payton and everybody else. And, of course, you know, our guy Bo Nix was very excited after the victory, as he should be. He's jumping up and down. He's all pumped up. He's just like, let's go! Yeah! Love it, Coacher.
Yeah.
Give me some of your thoughts about the win. I can't wait to dig into some more of the numbers. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how exciting for Bo Nix, for him to get the monkey off his back, DMac. And that's a huge monkey. And like a lot of people think that's just an NFL monkey for him to get a signature victory against a team that you're not as on paper, you're not as good as. This team that has won 21 of 22? Had won, was it 10 straight?
12
at
straight. Home. At home.
And I think some of those games eluded Bo Nix in college. I mean, he's part of a couple Oregon teams that won a bunch of games, but pretty much beat teams they should have. Kind of like the version of beating last year's Saints and last year's Panthers and last year's Falcons when Kirk Cousins was limping around as a 52-year-old male. Those are the kind of wins that Bo Nix has had. And that's been something that I was not convinced on, whether that's good or bad. Like, I had never seen it, and that's part of my evaluation from him in college. Is he got to get over that hump and win some games at the position. And you know what Bo Nix did is I think Bo Nix started okay. I think he had a pretty bad lull there, and so did the offense for the Broncos, clearly. But I think it was about 3/4 the stanza of this game. The fourth quarter was, man, that was a historically significant performance for this franchise, because you not only have a signature moment for your franchise quarterback. Guess what you have now? You have the belief for an entire roster that if we get you, like the defense, like Pat Surtain. Did you see Pat Surtain after the 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
Giddy. First time in his career he could say, wait a minute. Oh yeah, we got something. And that's big.
Listen, I think the criticism of Bo Nix was fair for the first 3 weeks. Then nobody's taking Cincinnati seriously, although it was kind of interesting what they did late in that game to Detroit, but, they're bad. We're not going to go on and on about it, but that Arizona-Tennessee game, I don't think I've ever seen an NFL team fold the way Arizona did today. I mean, that was...
Well, you know why.
I really don't know why.
You know why.
Why?
It's obvious, man. There's a new update coming to Call of Duty. Kyler Murray, it's Call of Duty update season, man. It always is the same, man.
Yeah, bro, but Kyler Murray's not dropping the ball before the goal line. He's not kicking the ball into the end zone after an interception. Kyler Murray ain't doing that. Never mind. Let's talk about the Broncos and the Eagles.
That's the biggest story in the NFL, which is so cool. I mean, it's by far the most significant storyline because the Eagles, even though they were very flawed in their first 4 games as a 4-0 team, man, they looked like they were continuing their winning ways, just like the Chiefs were last year, right? Yeah. Remember that Chiefs squad that last year they were just finding ways to win games, even if the aesthetic wasn't great.
Yeah,
and this was the team in Philadelphia that felt that same way. That ironically they had like a Super Bowl hangover, yet they were winning games, right?
Yeah. Well, let's give that DMac was calling it like Wednesday morning. I was because I was watching the tape. I was seeing what was going on. And Gerard here, hold on, let me get you. Your DMac, your prediction was 23-20 Broncos. It was close. You want to comment on the 2-point conversion? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Listen, let's do we like Receipt Street, Coacher? How are we on Receipt Street?
Yeah, I'm a big Receipt Street guy, and my final prediction was 20-14 Broncos.
Okay.
So I missed it by 1 point, really on both 2 points, right?
Well, I don't want to hold you to Eastern Kentucky math, but 14.
I missed the Broncos. I missed the Broncos' final score by 1 point, and I also was called an idiot by somebody in Receipt Street for saying I thought there was no chance the Broncos could score 30 against the Eagles, and it would require the defense to have a fantastic performance.
Let me tell you this: if the Broncos could have been +2, giveaway takeaway, this would have been a blowout. And that is what I said as well. Let me go over a couple of other things. Now, I said Jalen Hurts, if you get beat by Jalen Hurts' arm, fine. What are you going to do? And it looked bad for me when he completed the long pass to Saquon Barkley and the other one to Devontae Smith.
Alex Singleton.
Yeah. Muddy. That matchup. But he also, and then he did connect another deep pass, I think, to Smith as well, but he was out of bounds. And then he got A.J. Brown was wide open. By the way, I don't know if you're catching it, but A.J. Brown was bitching about shit later on in the locker room afterwards because his connection. It's funny because what was he, 5 for 43?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, it's like, all right, 5 for 43. I really don't care if A.J. Brown goes 5 for 43.
Right. You can have your 5 for 43, AJ.
Yeah, man. It's fine. And teams aren't staying away from Patrick Surtain, but he's not getting beat over the top. Now, They did get beat twice on deep plays, but you have to understand the 57-yard touchdown pass that Hurts threw to. That was the longest play he's had all year.
Right.
So is that skill or is that a little lucky?
It's a matchup issue, right?
Okay, but I would contend, here's why I think it's a little bit lucky. You have to have time to throw passes that deep. Right. And that was just one of the few times that he had time.
He created time.
One of the reasons I thought the Broncos would win, and I don't care about Jalen Hurts' arm because I just thought the Broncos would get massive pressure on him the entire game. Why? Because that is what was happening to the Eagles, Coacher. Over the past few weeks, their offensive line was giving up all sorts of pressures to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the numbers hadn't shown anything what you saw in an explosion against the defending NFL champions and one of the better offensive lines in pro football on paper going into the season. 6 sacks, though? 6 sacks. I mean, if somebody would have told me, hey, man, bet 5.5, bet the over on 5.5 sacks for the Broncos, total team sacks, or bet the over on Nick Benito at 1.5 sacks or 2 sacks, I'd be like, you're crazy, man. Not against the Eagles. They're going to run the ball. Jalen Hurts they're going to run a bunch of quarterback-driven run. It was weird, though, man. Like the strategy of the Eagles was to drop back a ton. It
was crazy.
I don't get it.
I get it. Why? You got diva wide receiver bitching about shit all during the week. We have some discord in that room, and we talked about that on the radio, and we talked about it on Altitude After Dark on Thursday. Yep. Would they bend over backwards to try to satisfy their divas? And they did. How about this for a stat? Do you know how many rushing yards the Philadelphia Eagles, think about this for a second, they were winning 17-3 going in the fourth quarter. Guess how many second half rushing yards they had, Coach?
It's got to be 9.
4.
Jeez. Yeah, it was
4. Now you lose yards with sacks and certain plays and tackles for losses.
Actually, in the NFL, sack yards go against your total passing yards. That's crazy.
Tackles for losses though do count against your rushing yards.
Yeah.
So, in college it hurts everything, but in the NFL, and there were tackles for losses all over the place. But at the end of the day, in terms of positive rushing yards in total, it was 4, which is amazing when you have Saquon Barkley. But you still had to score points, and you still had to go for 2. We're going to get to all of that in just a second. Want to thank everybody for being with us, and I have all sorts of sound from the players and coaches, and it's really remarkable stuff, so stick around, y'all.
There's a world of flavor out there, and to find it, you have to take the journey. Journey Spice Company handcrafts the most premium spice and seasoning blends that have no sugar, no salt, are certified USDA organic, non-GMO, vegan-friendly, and always planet-friendly. You are going to love serving amazingly delicious creations while knowing you helped reduce single-use plastics. Make sure to search for Journey Spice Company on Amazon today.
Then using the code GetSpicy at Amazon.com afterwards.
Say something, man, we came here to win a game. And I can't tell you, and I know on behalf of the coaches and ownership, everyone else, how proud we are of the way you played today. When you play a team like that, it's never going to be perfect. But, man, not once did we flinch. And that's what you have to do to beat a team like that. And you did it.
His post-game speeches leave a little something to be desired.
Yeah, you know what? I did see Sean Payton. I saw him dancing a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I like, man. Like Sean, I like. They showed it on the I think it was NBC, the pre-stuff for the pre-game show for tonight. What do they call that? Football in America. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? Good. Sean having fun is a positive thing for the Broncos. And gosh, man, I'm sure there's other games you could point to, but just in terms of the trajectory of the Broncos franchise and the trajectory of Sean Payton at this stage of his career, to me, and with very little research, it feels like that's probably the most significant victory since Sean Payton won the Super Bowl in the Hurricane Katrina year with the Saints. I'm sure there's something better, but it feels so significant.
Well, I'll go back to the stat that the Broncos were 1-112 down by 14 or more points going into the fourth quarter. I mean, you just cannot get over that number in terms of what a shock this was. And then when you think of the Eagles with Saquon Barkley just needing to run the ball out basically and not being able to do so is amazing. Let's get to some other reaction, Sean.
I told our team, I said, look, you're going to forget the money, the car, all that stuff, but, you're not going to forget just these moments. This trip over to London now. Ultimately, that's what you do it for. You're making memories.
Oh, it just dawned on me, DMac.
Yeah.
Show what Sean was wearing right there in that look right there.
I told our team, I said, look, you're going to forget.
Right there, yes.
You know what that is, man?
What?
Sean showed the world that it's October, Sean.
Pumpkin.
I'm dressed up as a human pumpkin. In October, Sean doesn't lose these games. Look at me. I don't think I've ever seen Sean Payton in all orange. Orange hat, orange shirt. I mean, it was unreal. He looked like he was.
That is actually funny because those were not their colors today. They were going white tops, blue bottoms.
No, but he probably went to Starbucks and got his pumpkin spice latte. He probably had a nice nubby sweater on this morning in Philadelphia when he took a walk. He probably is drinking his coffee with two hands around in his cozy fall sweater and blanket. And then he just put on his Halloween themed orange Payton. Sean Payton is October Payton, man. He doesn't lose, man. And he wanted to make sure that the Eagles all knew October Sean was in the building. Watch out.
And it's an awesome thing. I really, forget about the money and the cars. You get that already. It's the memories that you remember for a lifetime. When you have your reunion and you get back together, you don't talk about the bad times. You talk about the good times, unless there's the Scott Norwood reunion with the Bills. But in general, you talk about these moments and the rest of it sort of goes away. Let's get to the 2-point conversion. We start with Bo
Tell
after
us
the
what
game.
went into that 2-point conversion that coach decided to go for.
Well, I don't know. I just knew he's like, hey, left hash, let's roll. And he sent a play in, and we went out there and executed it. Troy ran a great route. We've been repping that play for a few weeks, and it paid off. And we went up, and then we had another great drive.
Okay, so that's that. Now, Sean, I got two more here. Sean talked about exactly what was going into it.
We knew we were going to get the matchup opposite of Cortland. All right, so we knew 27 was traveling with Cortland there, and Troy's got a really, really good first step. So when you watch the route, it's one jab, and it's the quickest, and he was fantastic on it. It was a good throw. It's a throw you got to make on the run. So we felt good about that one. Sometimes you play a game and you got like 4 other calls that you would love to have gotten to, then we won't play these guys with that defense for another, and they just kind of float away. There were 2 others, but that was one of them.
Okay, let's talk about this. And one more. Let me write one more. And this is Bo, if he was surprised that it was called.
I wasn't surprised. Next thing I knew, he was just giving me the hash, giving me the call, and knew we had one play to go get the job done. And Troy ran a great route, and we've been practicing that for a couple of weeks, and he got in the end zone. I mean, just trust in his players, and we got the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't know if it's a great thing, but I feel like it's a great thing that you have a coach who really, really knows how to coach in the NFL and really prepare his team. This means, I think, Coach, they were going to whip that two-point play out today, kind of no matter what. So I don't think it was that big of a deal of a decision, because I think he wanted. It was like, you want me on that wall. You want the code red. Like we got a couple in our pocket right now that I didn't even use. Right. Like, I can't wait to use this play. And so the degree that we were all shocked by it probably did not surprise the players and the coaches and everybody else who was prepared for it. And he said specifically the look they had. They had a look on where Sutton would be when a guy was trailing him, and the degree that Troy Franklin would be open. So they love this call. This wasn't a hard call for him to make at all.
No, you're right, and I like the call because it was another version of it was tailback, same naked boot, and typically when you run that, the play side boot or the boot side receiver, which would have been Troy Franklin, a lot of times that guy in a somewhat of a condensed split, he's got a corner route or some type of clearance route, or maybe even a mesh pick route. But instead, you now have a defender that's anticipating that guy's either going to go to the back pylon or come across and try to look to create a natural rub with somebody else coming from the other side. And instead, you run the kind of the stutter quick out and create separation. It's pretty salty, man. I mean, it's funny because I'd say to the normal eye, you're like, whatever. You just ran a little quick out. But that mechanism, that type of play, typically that receiver doesn't run that route. Therefore, defensive backs are so used to pattern reading certain situations when they see backfield actions or formations pre-snap. So it was a good call. And you did get that separation. And you know what? Kudos to both Troy Franklin and his Oregon Duck teammate for executing a play with precision.
What did you think about when it was called? Were you yelling at your TV?
No, I was just like, okay. Like my actual reaction was like, all right, we're doing this. We're really doing this, huh? And because it was at 7. How much time was remaining? 7.
A lot.
Like
Quite a bit. Yes.
It was significant. So it was kind of like, oh, and the only thing that, the second guessing, if you're a coach of yourself, is like, okay, if we don't get this, then we are going to be chasing this annoying point potentially for quite some time. But
yeah.
At the end of the day, man, I guess I see a lot of people have said, like, on the road, you go for 2 no matter what. Well, that's obviously that's at the end of the game, right? That math is there. But I think that same logic can hold true, because at some point you're going to have to either get the field goal to win it, or you're going to kick the field goal because you got that extra point, and you can keep the field goal to put it out of field goal tying range for the other team, which is, I think there's some, I still wonder if there was any analytics behind the decision, because it looked a little bit, and I'm not talking about like gut analytics or, hey, I think this, like, I'm talking about this. Watch these games closely. You're going to see, especially in college football, but even the Detroit Lions, there's always a guy standing next to the head coach with certain teams that holds a book that tells you 7,000 different situations that come up, when to go for it on fourth with how much time remaining, when to go for two with how much time remaining. And this, it felt a little bit analytic driven to me.
Well, you know, Sean did say, and we'll get to some of this in a little bit, they're going to keep their schedule exactly the same. Well, technically, that means Sean's doing a press conference tomorrow, which would be kind of amazing if that's the case, but technically it could work out. I will ask him that, and I think he'd be happy to answer it. You know, on that 2-point, you had a great play. Were there analytics that went behind the decision as well?
Yeah, I don't know hardcore analytics or Sean, like Seanalytics.
I'll tell you this. He did cite analytics as a reason that they kicked to cover rather than when they hit the field goal and went up. They kicked to cover the kick rather than started at the 35. Right. And if you notice the TV broadcast, big high five with Rizzy on the sideline.
Yeah, Rizzy was rolling today.
Well, on that one for sure, because the play before, the kick before, the Eagles took it to like the 40-something yard line. Right. There was only big return the Broncos gave up. So I'm sitting there like, you know what? Screw it. Your defense is playing great. Kick it out of the stadium. Start at the 35. So the Broncos analytically took a little bit of a roll of the dice right there, and they trusted their team and trusted Rizzy. So I say kudos, man. And I'll say kudos to the Broncos and Rizzy. You could not afford to get any kick blocked today. No way, no how. And they didn't. And I was definitely sweating it there, man, on that last goal because of the success the Eagles have had.
I thought today was the ultimate mastermind special team performance from Darren Rizzy and the entire special teams unit. And I thought Jeremy Crawshaw, and I know you made fun of me but like
he was great. He was great though. He was great.
I had already kind of given my flowers to Bo Nix as this is the moment that puts him in a different tier, different category as a Denver Broncos starting quarterback. But man, I just thought that his role, flipping field position and pinning the Eagles inside of their 20-yard line 5 times.
5 out of 7
punts, man, with a 63-yarder being one of those, man, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And as much as we spent a ton of oxygen, wasted a bunch of oxygen on training camp and preseason Crawshaw and how horrible he was, boy, does he look like a good 6th-round pick now.
He's had a brilliant season, absolute brilliant season. And one kick that went into the end zone, just like, man, it was on the second bounce.
Yeah, I was like
it could have. I mean, it really could have gone anywhere.
And then Big Nuts Will Lutz, man, big. I mean, huge performance from
55-yarder. Yeah.
55-yarder, and then the game. I mean, how about that first field goal that he made? Which, by the way, it held up as your only points, your only offensive production up until what was that? How much time was fourth quarter? Right, fourth quarter is the next time he scored, wasn't it?
That is correct, my friend. Yes.
And that one looked like it was like going to be a shank left, and it did the. What's going on with the NFL kicks these days? Everything looks like it's like a. It's like they take like multiple turns.
How about the fact this morning, a kick hits a guide wire, hits a wire, and they didn't catch it in the Browns game. I don't know if you even knew that.
Know that.
Yeah, look it up.
So was that in London?
Yes. It hit some sort of wire, and the kick was like way off to the right, and nobody caught it. The officials didn't catch it. The teams didn't catch it until after the game was over. Yeah. And then another ball. It wasn't a kick, but it was another play. Bonked off a guy's helmet and hit Skycam.
Dude, that's crazy. The other guy I thought was had a really good day was Marvin Mims as a returner, just in terms of hidden yards and just making good, smart, sound decisions.
We talked about that because Cam Johnson of the Bucs last week went for big yards, over 150 yards
Yep.
on punt returns against the Eagles. We talked about all of this.
Correct.
The Eagles were having serious issues in terms of their identity, who they're all about, a brand new Jalen Hurts' 6 different play
crazy,
caller in 6
Crazy.
years.
Insane.
And Patello is Patullo, sorry. He is taking all sorts of shit. And they were booing their team during different points of this game.
Hey, DMac, do you remember my key to victory from Friday when I think we visited about it on Thursday or Friday. My key to victory had nothing to do with the contest taking place on Sunday. It had everything to do with a home Phillies playoff game against the Dodgers.
Right.
I wanted to have the most negative, down and out, volatile, emotional fan base in all of sports wake up with an incredible sports hangover. And then bring that same negative energy straight to Kevin Patullo and the Philadelphia Eagles inept pass game. And that's exactly what happened.
Hey, dude,
it's exactly what happened.
Check out Garrett Bowles after the game.
The Phillies lost, and and the Eagles lost. So this town's probably not happy with us, but we did what we needed to do. I'm proud of this team, proud of our coaching staff, and everyone a part of this organization.
That's so good, man.
Bowlesy got it. He got the same. He
got the memo, man. He understood the assignment, man.
Man.
Isn't that crazy, man? Because both games were like monumental collapses, which for a Phil, can you imagine Philly Sports Talk Radio on Monday? Oh, tomorrow. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
Holy cow.
After the game, Sean Payton said this to his team.
I think they were confident coming in. I asked him afterwards, who are you afraid of? And this is a league this is a fine line between a groove and a rut. And it was a good win.
Okay. Saying who you're afraid of, that is such an awesome thing to say, don't you think?
It's a great thing.
Oh, my God.
It's a great thing because, man, Sean Payton has led some unlikely victories in his tenure here for the Broncos. Really none last year. Would you agree with that? Nothing. The Bucs game was unlikely. But I don't know the Bucs were at the time, that well respected as they were as the year progressed, right?
Yeah.
And then the Bucs did it again today, did they not? Against the Seahawks?
They did. What a game. That was an unbelievable game.
Sam Darnold throwing a pick like that, hits a guy in the back of the helmet, and it just gives the ball away at 35-35, perfect field goal range in the NFL. I'm like, what are we freaking doing? That's why you draft the quarterback.
There is a point in the season, and this might be the week, when quirky things are bound to happen for a wide variety of reasons. Now, I'll tell you this, the Bills are losing 13-10 to New England. There's 4 minutes to go in the third, so they actually got a long way to go. But who knew that New England would even be in this game? You've had all sorts of bizarre things happening today. But I don't think this is a bizarre thing for the Broncos. We did emphasize going over this game throughout the course of the week. I was picking the Broncos, Coacher. It wasn't an any given Sunday. Listen, any team can beat any team on an any given Sunday. So, I always hate that as sort of a reason why your team can win. I need real reasons why your team. I don't know if I could manufacture a real reason why the Broncos would beat, the Detroit Lions right now. I think I might struggle with that. But this was not some sort of weird sort of deal. And the players said it. Benito said it.
Yeah, I feel like, the whole week, everybody, just coming up asking questions. Oh, is this a measuring stick game? Blah, blah, blah. And, I never feel like it was that. I feel like we knew what type of team we were. We're a good team. We have aspirations. And, we knew we weren't trying to come in here just to be close and lose a game. We wanted to come in here and win, and I feel like we did a good job of that.
You know what that face is right there?
What's that?
That's the face of a man that realized that he got screwed in his contract.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Here's DJ Jones about manifestation.
Well, the vibe in here isn't shock or amazement. It's just felt like you guys feel as though you came here, did your job, and now you're going to the next game.
Yeah, because when you speak something into existence, it's not a surprise when it happens.
What did you speak into existence?
This win. This win, no matter how it happened.
All week were you guys doing that?
Yes, sir.
Now that you've done it, how great does it feel?
Amazing.
Congratulations to you.
Scotty Gage is like, oh, this got serious in a hurry. Okay.
All right. Big hurry. let's talk about what Bo actually did from a coaching perspective. And I'll start with Bo, and I want you to comment on this.
After the first 3 points, we just literally did nothing for about a while, and then we finally went down the field and scored, got some tempo, and then you look up and there's still a lot of fourth quarter to be played, and so we got the ball again and knew we had to go do it again, and then the 2 point, and then after the 2 point, we just got some great momentum, and we just played with that for the rest of the game.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what I liked about what Bo talked about right there, and then just what watching it is, for whatever reason, this game for me, DMac, didn't feel like the end of the Charger game or the end of even the Colts game, where Bo just to me didn't feel like he had the look of a quarterback that was going to be able to take the football in the fourth quarter and go win a game. For some reason, I just felt like, man, he looks more settled and anchored in the pocket. He looks like he's got his feet where they need to be. Yeah, he had an overthrow to Trent Sherfield, but why the hell is Trent Sherfield in that? Anyway, neither here nor there.
And layout, dude. I mean, I get it.
I get it. Trent Sherfield, like, that's a special teams demon. Why is that guy? Decoy Leroy. I don't know. He's in the game. Anyway, Bo missed that throw barely. And I think it was an uneven performance through a good chunk of that game, but it felt like there was a different look in Bo's eyes. Like he was hell-bent and determined on breaking through this ceiling that has been kind of over the top of him. I don't know Bo personally that well. I've obviously spent a day with him doing his camp, but I felt that there was this burden, knowing that the ceiling that he needed to punch through, kick through, of I can be the reason. Yeah. And I say that the reason that my team beats a team that no one expects us to. A, on the road, B, as underdogs, C, trailing by 14 points in the fourth quarter. And guess what? It felt that way. And I wasn't even panicking. I said, hey, just as long as you don't give up any more points in this fourth quarter, you got a shot. You got a shot. And I felt it. And it was funny because I was the wife and I in our new town of residence here were around, and you can see in a town like Littleton, it's a lot more old. There's old Broncos fans, people who've been around this community for a long time, and it's kind of there was a lot of the here we go again. This is terrible. I thought this was going to be better. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know, guys. Like I was just talking to random strangers. Like, I don't know. Just hang around and get into deep waters, and then put the pressure on Jalen Hurts at some point, and you did. And you know what? Jalen Hurts didn't deliver like he has often.
He didn't, and the Eagles, listen, guys get tired. And when offensive linemen get tired, it leads to more pressure. It does. And the rotation, it was Vic Fangio, as great of a genius as he is defensively, when he was here as the head coach, you realize he burned out Von Miller. He looked at Von Miller's reps and were like, let's get this going. Benito's different, man. They are much more strategic and scientific and analytical how they use the guys. You guys should understand this. There is a ton of sports science that goes on with the Broncos.
Bo Lowry.
That's right.
The best. And
Sean Payton said the first thing he looks at when he walks into his office Monday morning is how many snaps did all my guys get? Because that's a goal they have in mind, both for development and for maximum use of these guys. There's a lot of science going on with the Broncos right now. And, Coach, I don't know how you feel about it, but I absolutely love it.
No, it's the way it should be. It's why the player availability has been so good. And, frankly, all the things that we've said about the availability of Evan Ingram, the production of Evan Ingram, all along was this part of this scientific plan to get him right in the right time? Maybe. Because he finally looked right. He looked like the guy that we watched during training camp in the first 7 to 8 or 9 days of training camp before it looked like things were starting to accumulate with a back and a hamstring and a quad and a groin and here he is in the biggest of moments. And guess what? Your Joker actually joked. He told the joke today.
But you know what? You know what's going on? They got into a little pissing match, the two of them, Ingram and Sean on the sideline. Okay. Sean admitted it. Said, I got pissed at him. He was pissed at me. And we had to make sure that we got him in the game and involved things. So I didn't even see that on the TV broadcast. That was something that was mentioned by one of the Muggles who was there. So how about that for a little didn't know that happened, but it did. And Ingram wasn't the main target on the touchdown. It was, going through your progressions and your reads. So I don't know if everything's been so, warm and fuzzy with Evan Ingram and Sean Payton, but today probably goes a long way to making things feel better.
Yeah, it sure does. I think that Evan Ingram's ability to run after catch and break tackles on the decisive touchdown in this football game, that was great to see. And I think that opens up some things in the pass game for Evan Ingram, confidence-wise. And I think, I think Sean actually likes when guys go at him a little bit.
I get that sense, yes.
And especially if it's somewhat warranted, somewhat justified.
Yes.
And who knows what the actual conversation was about. But Sean Payton, when Bo Nix went at Sean Payton, that's when I think Sean Payton's officially said, yeah, it's my guy. That's my guy. For sure.
And by the way, Bo Nix should be everybody's guy after this game. Okay? Yep. This is the biggest win, arguably, the Broncos have had since Super Bowl 50.
Yep.
This was against all odds and all expectations. This was meaningful beyond meaningful. Like, you don't have to wonder about a signature win for Sean Payton or Bo Nix. That's not their hump anymore. And if you can see Bo Nix do this, you know what this indicates to me? Any bad game is just that, a bad game. It doesn't portend to poor things in the future. But after 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, and you got to kind of write off that Cincinnati game, it was hard to tell. It was hard to tell. Not now. Let me play you this. Courtland Sutton gives a little bit of a hint as to what might have been going on with Bo.
He gets down on himself. He's a very passionate guy when it comes down to his craft, and to be able to watch him, go into the mindset of, all right, how do I get better, and what do I need to do to be better, for himself and for us. It ultimately motivates everyone around him. Like I'm like, bro, like I tell him all the time, you're not doing this by yourself, but what can I do to be better for you? You know what I'm saying? For us, whatever it may be, you tell me, and I'll work on it. And so to be able to, have your leader be somebody that's as driven as he is, and as detailed, as passionate as he is, man, it ultimately, brings everybody else along with him. And
I think this is what was going on. It was one bad day after another in camp. It led to a bad start of the season, which just kept spiraling. I think Bo was beating himself up. I don't know if other things were going on in his life. I do not know that. But I think it's pretty clear to say, from what Courtland Sutton said, Bo Nix was mentally having a tough time, and nobody was being harder on him than him, and he wasn't getting out of that rut. So, first of all, praise to Courtland Sutton. What an amazing captain of the team. Yeah. Great game today.
Would have loved to see that first catch, though, but neither here nor there.
Yes, absolutely. And Atkins, too. Yes.
Yeah.
But
the Courtland one was really big.
The Courtland one was really big, and that sucked. But look at the rest of his game. Great. And look at what was going on with Courtland Sutton and Bo Nix on the sideline. The real leader of this team, Coach, is Courtland Sutton. He is the number one leader of all the leaders on this team.
He also may be the quarterback whisperer for this team. Like he is the guy that gets Bo in the right headspace. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, based off some information that I've been able to acquire relationally, that I think there were some concerns within Bo's own kind of psyche about how everything that you just mentioned went preseason, training camp. Really the one day that we all saw with our own eyes that we said, okay, everything's going to be okay, was the joint practice against the Cardinals, which the Cardinals are kind of proving to be a team that you could have a good day against. Right. And so, man, I just think that those breakthrough games for a player like Bo, and I think his wiring is care factor through the roof, care factor so high, almost to a detriment at times. And that's why one thing that's hard when you coach a guy with such an incredibly high care factor at the quarterback position, and I've coached him, it at times appears that they are gripping the stick too tightly. It feels like a golfer that just man, you gotta loosen up that grip just a little bit and just go play freely, man. And a lot of times you have that conversation with that type of an athlete. And as a coach, a lot of times it's hard to balance. Like, how do you hold somebody like that to a high standard, but also kind of give them the grace to go out and play freely? It's not the easiest thing to do. And I don't know that Sean has gifts that way. I don't. I try to, but you don't, because I'm either too hard on my guy or I'm too soft on my guy. And if I feel like I'm right in the middle, that it's really neither. Like, it's not definitively either, right? And I think the guy that has helped break that through is Courtland Sutton. To your point, I think he's the guy that has been able to massage it well. And I go back to this, man. It's a great quote. Is that bad teams, no one leads. Just go ahead and look at the Cardinals right now. Looks like a team that no one's leading.
Right.
You know, average teams, coaches lead. But great teams, players lead. And I think in the instance of what is happening and transpiring on the Broncos right now, there are real examples of player leadership that is tangentially altering the course of play as the season progresses. And it's a great thing.
We want to encourage you to go to Journey Spice right there, and you can save 10% using the code GETSPICY. We love Journey Spice. Get Spicy, non-fat, non-GMO, no salt, no sugar. It's the best. We love you, Journey Spice. Save yourself 10%. Use that QR code to your benefit. All right, let's talk about what's coming up, and that is a trip to England. Oh, actually, we do have a little breaking news here, and maybe I should say that first. Ben Powers did not travel with the team to England. Coach, he's got a bicep issue. He is back in Denver, so that might be a serious an issue, and probably Ben Powers is out for the week. There's another player that didn't travel back or travel to England, and that's Jarrett Stidham. Different reasons. Apparently his wife is expecting child, and that must have been an incredible, stressful trip just to Philadelphia, never mind the timing with England. So we are thinking that there may be some things. We wish him the best of luck. There's a strategic reason, and it's being reported that he may join the team on Wednesday. But can you imagine the family stress that the baby is due, or perhaps it looks like a little bit overdue?
You're inducing. You got to be inducing. That's
right.
I've been there 3 times during a football season where I'm coaching. I mean, twice I was an offensive coordinator, and we induced for both my boys. And I ended up missing the team flight for Notre Dame to go to play Navy in Jacksonville at the Jaguars Stadium. It's hard. It's not easy, man. I mean, these things happen. And, just like our good friend, Good Raj, Jarrett Stidham can join the paternity leave train. And then, good news is for the Broncos, just like I got Berto, they've got a Sam Ellinger. It's all good.
Got him if needed.
And Sam Ellinger says, tonight. He says,
but we wish the Stidham family all the best and the joy, and it's got to be somewhat of a stressful situation. So hey,
Stidham's wife was watching, I think, with Bo's wife. So they're just watching the game together. I saw some funny anecdotal stuff on a Facebook or Instagram story where Bo Nix is being interviewed by Tracy Wolfson, and Stidham's wife is holding up a big W in the projector light. So she was getting the shadow on right underneath Bo's chin. It was pretty cool. It was pretty dang cool.
That is awesome. Okay, speaking of London, Sean Payton.
One of the challenges is playing this game before you go to London. You guys have heard me say it. The away teams before London, it's not real good. So it wasn't in the itineraries. There was not one thing about the L word, nothing. I said something about bring an extra bag Friday, and that's it. And then we'll figure out. So.
All right, so that's pretty funny. Now, I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense. Teams that go on the road before they play in London have a terrible record. Well, Sean,
it's a weird deal.
Yeah, so interesting to know. And this is just where they set their mind. Our guy, Chris Tomlinson, he's one of my favorite muggles from the Denver Gazette because he's just a crackpot. And he wanted to, go on and on about this. And this elicited this pretty funny response.
It's going to be exactly like a practice week. Exactly. You want the schedule? No sightseeing. You know where we're staying? In the middle of nowhere. No sightseeing. God, I was having a good press conference.
Yes, I love Pumpkin Sean, man. Pumpkin Sean, October Sean in all of his glory. You know what he just did there?
Oh, that's so funny.
You want to know what he just did there, DMac?
What's that?
He just said, we are staying in the Appalachian, West Virginia mountains of London.
Yes.
We are going to the Greenbrier. Yeah. The original Greenbrier, the one that happened. So the colonial settling brought the concept of Greenbrier down to West Virginia, one of the original colonies, and they brought the concept from England. And that's where we're staying. Do you understand, Chris Thomason? Do you want the exact schedule? Do you want me to give you the rooming list and the bed check list? What do you want, Chris?
Oh my God, I love it. They're saying it ye old with an E, Greenbrier. Something like that. Okay. Well, listen, Sean, his attention to, and this is why I think Sean's better in October than in September. I think he just can't help overloading guys with everything.
Yeah.
He's an overloader. But by the time October rolls around, things are just sort of, making more sense and the pieces are fitting together. And he is a really great coach. He really is. Despite his eccentricities and some of his quirkiness, the dude knows what he's doing. And I'd much rather have a coach that can sort of be like Sean and, you figure things out as it goes rather than a guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in the first place.
I'll tell you what, Darren, September Sean, not great. Pumpkin Sean, October Sean, PSL, Pumpkin Spice Latte Sean, nice little nubby knitted sweater Sean. We love them. Now, on the flip side of that, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
September Mark Sanchez, awesome. October Sanchez, not good.
Dude,
not good whatsoever.
The story goes, from what I understand, Sanchez is all hopped up on who knows what.
Ooh, not good.
Doing wind sprints or something in an alley in Indianapolis when there's a 69-year-old driver that is collecting like vegetable oil or something.
It's like
Sanchez, it's all in the details. That's awesome. Sanchez tells him, you got to move your truck. The guy's collecting the vegetable oil, and Sanchez is belligerent to the degree that he jumped in the dude's truck and had to be pulled out. Once that happened, a physical assault began. The guy had pepper spray. This was this 69-year-old truck driver knew he was on a bad route if he's, armed up with pepper spray and a knife. So not only does he have pepper spray, but he's got a knife. And I'm wondering how dangerous these vegetable oil drop-offs actually are. He's the one that stabbed Sanchez completely in self-defense.
In the chest, like 3 times.
It's incredible that Sanchez isn't dead. And
how do you get stabbed 3 times in the chest? And then he, am I right to say that Sanchez then got arrested in the last 18 hours?
Hospital, he got arrested.
So is he like incarcerated currently, or is he under?
I think he might be sitting next to the hospital bed with like some irons connecting him to the bed. To his wrist.
Why it's the craziest story. And whatever elixir he had, remind me, DMac, to never have that elixir, that mixture of whatever it might be.
Where does the Mark Sanchez career end? Good luck finding attacking 69-year-old truck driver.
Tough one to come back from.
And on that note, we bid you a fond farewell. Thank you to Journey Spice. Give us a little prediction about what you think this week will hold for the Broncos, Coach.
I think it's going to be a great week. It's going to be ye old Greenbrier, and it's going to be the Appalachian Mountains are going to be moved. Sean Payton is actually paying for it currently. He knows the Penner family's pocketbooks are deep enough that he can move the Appalachian Mountains right to the coastal area, rural area of London and of England. And that's where the Broncos are going to create Greenbrier East on the other side of the pond.
Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the Jets are not a good team, and they're not playing very
scary, though.
Well, I understand any given Sunday. Listen, I'll tell you this. This is an any given Sunday game for the Jets, okay? The Giants lost today too. A little of that Dart magic is off. Kyle,
I knew that was happening.
Yeah,
Dart has Jackson Dart has Drew Lock written all over him to me. All over him.
Fine by me. I get
eccentric personality, runs hot, then runs very cold. Did it at Ole Miss, man. I saw it with my old. How many times have I told you about Drew Lock? Where you're like, oh, I love his, or excuse me, Numbnuts from Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, where he runs hot. He's awesome. And then you see him play Ole Miss 27-point favorites over Kentucky, and they scored 7 points. It just happens. It happens with that guy.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think we're one day closer to Shadur Sanders getting the nod. Not that Dylan Gabriel played awful, but it wasn't special, that's for sure. And we'll see. The rest of the NFL schedule is great. Well, dude, 10:56 to go as we do this show. Buffalo is down by 10. They're driving with the ball, and they're close to the red zone. Josh Allen scrambles, gets drilled, so they're right outside the red zone. Ooh, Allen is that hurt. He just got drilled in the back. Ooh, he is kind of limping along. Hey, I'll let you go so we can watch the end of this game, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Oh, Pumpkin Sean. PSL.
Pumpkin Sean, when that heartburn hits, man, and you get the game ball from Greg Penner.
It's a double latte. It's a pumpkin spice double latte for Pumpkin Spice Sean.
My favorite.
We'll see you. Bye.